It's a beautiful day outside. Birds are singing, flowers are blooming. On days like these, kids like you should be burning in hell.
I feel like one of the things that makes Undertale so iconic is, well, the music. Anywhere you go, you've probably heard Toby Fox's songs in every corner of the internet. Even in places that aren't even Undertale or Deltarune related at all. That is how good Toby is as a composer. You'll be surprised, or not, by just how many people will use a track from Deltarune or Undertale to set the mood for whatever is needed in the video. It could be sad, angry, energized, you name it, Toby has something for it. But you've probably already heard that from plenty of other people already. What people really don't talk about these days is really the fan songs that people have made in celebration of Undertale or to have their own spin on things. And in late celebration of Undertale's 10th anniversary, I think it's a good way to go back and just see the history the fandom has had through the music plenty of talented people have made. And to do that, we have to go back to the beginning, before Undertale was even remotely a finished product. "2013 was the early stages of Undertale's development. Around this time, Toby had released the Kickstarter for Undertale on June 24th, 2013, with even a demo of the game being released a month earlier on May 23rd. And, well, when it comes to the game's history, we know how wildly successful the Kickstarter was for the creation of the game. But when it comes to the fan music, however, only really a month after the Kickstarter was up on July 20th, 2013, was the first ever piece of Undertale music ever created by a fan, and it was created by Genesis Keys, aptly called Undertale. Honestly, as a track, given what was out at the time, I actually really like it. The song, I'd say, could probably fit in the actual game somewhere, whether it be in maybe around the end of the game during, I would say, mainly the neutral run. It's a very unique song, to say the least, and it's pretty much Genesis's whole style. Looking at his channel, he does primarily make video game arrangements that damn near sound official, and he's been doing this since 2011 and is still making music to this day, uploading it onto his channel. I will say though, finding any other songs made by fans in this early era of Undertale is kind of impossible, because it was only a Kickstarter and no one really knew about it until the game came out. This is literally the only thing that came out like pre-2015. Speaking of which, I think we can just skip to that. This is where I believe most of us remember a lot of the songs to spawn from. There are a lot of subcategories that I want to go over, but for the purposes of this video, I'm only going to be going over 2, so this video isn't absurdly long. Firstly, we'll talk about now, of course, I don't think I could realistically go about this video without mentioning the absurd number of parody songs that were done here, in and out of Undertale, to be honest. Firstly, we must talk about the Undertale parody to start all parodies. The Sans cover to Stronger Than You. Still probably the most popular fan song in the community, with the animation specifically sitting at 93 million views, which is still more than what the original song had at 65 million, which I think is still crazy, to be honest. But overall, we've all heard it. We've all seen this version. It's iconic, and I'd say it's pretty in line with his character, surprisingly enough. Not to mention DJ Small Santa's voice being heavily recognizable and still to this day generally being used as a reference point for other people's Sans voice, even for me. And usually, whenever you think of DJ Smell, this song / animation is usually the first thing you think of. The cover first came out in October 31st of 2015 and a little over a month after the game's release, with the animation that got 93 million views coming out on December 21st of the same year. Now, of course, considering the sheer amount of popularity that the Sans cover had, it would inevitably spawn other people to take a crack at it with their characters, most notably, Sonic. Now, of course, I'm referring to Frisk and Kara's Stronger Than You responses, both of them equally as popular as the Sans one, spawning videos where people would just combine all three of them into one big song. The Kara Stronger Than You pretty much leaned into the more evil Kara narrative that a lot of people had at the time, effectively making Kara to be the ultimate big bad of the game and I guess rival to Sans. You can tell from just how the cover is written that they are written to be fully evil. And while I don't personally like this interpretation of Kara, I do feel like for this song specifically, it does make it a fitting response to the Sans Stronger Than You, especially when it goes in context with the Genocide run as a whole. The first upload of the cover was done by Milky-chan on January 12, 2016, with the animation coming on July 25, 2016, with the animation having 78 million views, along with the OG cover having 40 million. Then there is my personal favorite cover being, well, the Frisk response. This to me is probably the most beautiful version of the track. While the Sans version is a much more action-heavy type beat playing on the actual fight of the game, and the Kara version is on that same type of action thematic-ish thingy, but with a much more sinister tone as we are effectively looking through the perspective of the quote-unquote villain. The Frisk response, I believe, doesn't follow that same trend. To me, it's a much more somber tone by the use of just the piano as the backing track. It makes the track and the lyrics much more disheartening to hear. This response fully plays on the fact that even after a pacifist run, they went through the Geno route out of pure curiosity, not by the influence of another person, i.e. Kara, but through their own actions. The reason everyone in the underground is being slaughtered is because of you. You chose to go through this. You chose to go down this path, casually resetting and going through the same gameplay as like some sort of playground. I feel like it perfectly encapsulates how Toby wanted you to feel in the Genocide run. It's why the process of doing the Genocide run in the game is so tedious. It's not meant to give you this sense of satisfaction, it's meant to make you feel awful. To me, the way the Korean and English singers portray the chorus of the line that they are made of love, it sounds really depressing. Compared to Sans singing it, where he basically knows you're made of love and he's effectively a judge, and by proxy shaming you for gaining so much love in the first place. The Kara version effectively relishes in the fact that we are made of love, that you are made of love. The way it's sung here in the Frisk version makes it sound way more like the sad truth that they have accumulated so much of it. This song isn't an apologist tour for Frisk doing the Genocide run, even if the visuals can kind of display. It is a somber reminder that their curiosity led them down this inescapable path. Similar to how in the game, if you did a Geno run first, your game would be completely tainted. And you are constantly reminded of what you did in that first run. The original / the first version of the song was done by ATO2. I don't know if I said that right. On November 18th, 2015, which was then covered by Reichi almost a month later, December 19th. Then, months later, a Korean version of the song made by which would be made along with the animation to boot, drawn by Ryuo, on March 20th, 2016. Then the video that I'm sure we've all seen coming out on Starbeam using Reichi's vocal performance on April 6, 2016. In total, making 4 whole videos about this one song, spanning 2 whole languages. Also, fun fact, there are remix versions of these 3 parodies made by Zandu, coming out in the same year with the exception of the first response, which came out oddly in May of 2017. They are a very good listen, honestly. Though for me, my favorite of the remixes is the Sans one. Now, obviously, after the big three Stronger Than You parodies, there were some lesser known parodies such as a Papyrus Stronger Than You, an Undyne Stronger Than You, one of Error Sans, funnily enough, one with Fail Sans, one with Swap Sans / Blue, and well, one with Betty. Probably many more that I haven't even mentioned in this video that aren't even Undertale related, like fucking Bill from Gravity Falls. If you want a more in-depth talk about the Stronger Than You phenomenon, check out Cloud Parody's video on the topic. It's a really good in-depth dive into the impact this song had on the Undertale community. Moving on from the biggest one, we have plenty of other songs from this time that I'd be stupid enough to omit. Such as, well, Determination by DJ Smell featuring Lolio. Coming out on September 24th, 2016, it was a parody of Irresistible by Fall Out Boy. And I'm gonna be real, to this day, I still don't even know what the original song even sounds like. The song itself leans fully into evil Kara, / the Kara versus Sans rivalry stuff that everyone had during this time. But aside of that, it's just another song covering the Sans fight, honestly. But I do really like it. I find myself coming back to this song a lot, and also, fun fact, there is a cover of the song with Aaron Inc. made by Wardock, which is very neat. Another DJ Smell Sans fight parody song is, well, Bad Time featuring Chi-Chi as Frisk. I'm gonna be real, this song is pretty funny purely because of the song chosen to be parodied. It's a parody of Owl City's Good Time. Anyone remember Owl City? The parody came out on September 16th, 2016. To me, this is pretty much just a much more light-hearted sounding version of Determination, which I guess makes sense since it is Frisk instead of Kara. Though the image of Frisk confronting Sans with a mic and Sans doing the same is hilarious, honestly. But yeah, I love this song very much. It's just goofy, especially since Frisk and Sans are both singing about killing each other. Then we get to the parodies of all parodies. Story of Undertale. I don't think I have to explain who, what, when, or how with this song. I don't even know why it's even called a parody. It's an original song that the almighty Lahugany cooked up in his basement, gracing us with his musical prowess that he has showed us so much in the past 100 years. The song came out on April 3rd, 2016, so pretty early into Undertale's peak in popularity. The song, joking aside, is a parody from Bad Romance by, well, you know who. And as much of a meme this song is in the community, mainly for the typical Lahugany style that he's known for with air thrusting papyruses, Frisk holding hunting rifles, Toriel and Snowden, MLG glasses, and of course the trademark badly done art that is known with Lahugany. For me, however, it's a guilty pleasure to watch, I can't lie. As much as it sort of butchers the game of Undertale like entirely, it's simply too funny and low-key kind of too endearing to ignore. Which is why years later it somehow managed to get a very, very small community of people who have done covers of it, remade it with completely different character sprites, or just flat out remade the animation and song itself entirely. The final parody that I will talk about in depth is one that actually crosses fandoms together, specifically a dancing demon. Give Up Every Soul was made by Oreo on June 20th of 2017, combining Bendy and Undertale into one. This song was out back when the first chapter of Bendy and Ink Machine came out and Will Ryan, DA Games, came out with the first ever song for it. This is just a shortened version of that with lyrics to fit Kara. Mainly evil Kara, but you get it at this point. Oreo, as an artist, I do really like, and this is no exception. Not to mention, I also really love the original song, so that kind of goes without saying. I really love this parody. After that, though, there are a bunch more parodies from this time that I could name, but they don't really have as much interesting stuff to talk about, or I just really didn't know they were around. So here's more parodies that I've yet to mention in a sort of lightning round.
Let me put this away, you idiots will understand.
I'm the Bad Guy Kara version is pretty much just that one song from Yonder Over Yonder, but covered by Kara, and it also includes Asriel and Flowey, and happens to, I think, also include Sans, I believe. Look What You Made Me Do is another pop song parody by Oreo, and I don't really like all that much, but hey, it's cool. Neutron by Lahugany is a song, it's actually pretty catchy, honestly. Pacifist Song by Lahugany is another song of all time. We Are the Star Sans is pretty much just a cover of We Are the Crystal Gems from Steven Universe with Ink, Sans, Blue, and Frisk. Honestly enough, it's just a little cute song. The plentiful amounts of Stronger Than You is made by Wardock that I just couldn't reasonably put in this video. The Ways I Have Died by Pixie Mage, and Stronger Than You, Frisk, and Carl by Lily Pichu and Rage Quit. Or Rack Quit. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Now, of course, parodies weren't the only thing being made around this time. A lot of song artists, many popular from Five Nights at Freddy's, made plentiful amount of Undertale songs around this time as well.
A stranger in their home, will you honor their spirits or become the judge?
Tryhard Ninja is a prime example of this, as the first song he made came out on February 20th of 2016, aptly called Mercy or Genocide. It's a song with the most simple premise possible. It takes the concept of the game at its most basic level and makes a funky tune out of it. It's probably the most basic definition of an Undertale song you can have, but that doesn't stop it from being good. I genuinely think more people should listen to it, even if in some parts he kind of just forgets to rhyme all of a sudden.
The climb is long and to the top, determination guides you will.
8 out of 10. Though I can't exactly say the same for their next attempt at a Genocide Run song. This one being for Kara, being called We're the Same. There isn't really anything sonically wrong with the song, it's honestly just forgettable. He has a tendency like that sometimes. He can make a really good song and also make a song that you're just never gonna hear again. I think with a remake though, it could be very good, as it does have moments of it being good, like in this part.
Close your eyes, the end is near. We're the same, you made that clear. Fade to black, it's all that's left.
But it just misses the mark on a lot of things, honestly. 6 out of 10. Then we get to this fucking Flowey song over here, where for 90% of the song it's just a calm, pop-like, upbeat, cheery, happy-go-lucky instrumental with the Flowey facade on full display here, and then you just get the devil by like the last minute of the song or so. So it's pretty fitting for Flowey, honestly. I like it, even while the part of the song just turns into a hard rock band, and I myself, I'm not that big on hard rock to be fair, but I feel like for this, it worked pretty well. I'm not even kidding though, that last like, what, 30 seconds to a minute of the song like jump scared me on first viewing. 7 out of 10. Then we get to the song that everyone has probably heard from Tryhard Ninja if you were in the Undertale community at the time, Judgment. Which was made on March 5th of 2016, and was and still is his most popular Undertale song. It pretty much expands more on Santa's role on being the royal judge while following him through the Genocide Run, with bits of Neutral Run and Pacifist here and there. And its high view count is very warranted, I would say. I feel like this song really does highlight his role as the judge really well. I honestly think out of all the songs in Tryhard's Undertale album, this song has definitely aged the best. Though I will say, when I look back, I did not see any of these Sans expressions. Like, what the hell? 8.3 out of 10. The next artist who made some pretty notable Undertale songs was also someone who made plenty of classic FNAF songs, really only a year earlier. The name is Groundbreaking, who made 10 Undertale songs between 2015 and late 2016, and as much nostalgia that I have for his FNAF works, I don't exactly have that same level of love for his Undertale works, as this is my first time kind of hearing his stuff, honestly. And what do I think of it? Well, it's not amazing. I'll say that much. His most popular track being Bold Sands, coming out on January 8th, 2016, and according to Groundbreaking, it is the first original Undertale track to hit 1 million views, which is nuts, honestly. The song is very clearly still Groundbreaking's early works in his career, with it very clearly showing that he needed some more refinement in areas. Case in point, well, the song in question. It has a decent melody to it. The writing is pretty basic, honestly, and with a lot of things that could have been touched on or added, honestly. For example, during every chorus, it slowly kind of builds up, leaving you with this sense of anticipation for some crazy drop to get you hype, even with the lyrics hyping you up, which I admit is pretty effective, but then nothing happens effectively. The drop is very minuscule. It's missing a lot. It just leaves you with this overwhelming sense of
The fuck?
it just makes the song feel a lot more incomplete. Like he accidentally turned off certain instruments in his music program. I'm not saying the song is inherently bad or anything. It has some good potential. I just think it should be remade or remastered with some fine tuning. 6 out of 10. Then there's Regular Sands, which I honestly think needs to be completely redone because the song just flat out does not sound that good. I mean, musically speaking, it falls flat for me because it pretty much just uses the same Megalovania motif like Bold Sands, except slower and just flat out not as good. But also during the song, it cuts in some of the beats / melodies from Megalovania and kind of just uses it sporadically throughout the song. I don't know, it's just very weird, so it doesn't really stand out that much for me. Not to mention also just being very slow. It doesn't grab my attention that much, especially since it's not even that good of a sounding song for me. Like, after every verse before the chorus, there's like this one part of the song. I don't know why he thought this was a good idea, but it basically just sounds like Turned Down for What. I'm sure you can hear the similarities with it. I don't know what Groundbreaking was thinking. It's like what he used with that violin part for his Foxy song. Fucking ridiculous. But then we get to the actual writing of the song, and by golly, this is just confusing. This is supposed to be a pacifist song, and it seems like we're still in a genocide run for some reason. Throughout the song, Sans is portrayed to be distrusting of you, warning Frisk to not get on his bad side or they'll have a bad time. Or that, quote unquote, they're your friend, I guess. Even though from the visuals of the song itself, it shows the true pacifist timeline, because that ending scene with Sans on his bike, you can only get that in the credit scene of the True Pacifist ending, where you most proved how good of a person you are. It's like Sans is just Doke staring at Frisk in the True Pacifist timeline with intense skepticism. Unless this is like trying to be a play on the fact that the player and or Frisk did a genocide run before a True Pacifist run, which I guess would make a little bit of sense, but the song does not really, or even the visuals itself doesn't really show that. It's just supposed to be pacifist. I'm expecting pacifism, not skepticism of genocide. Overall, the song just confuses me and just honestly just sounds bad. 3 out of 10. The next song to look at is Bound to Fall, which I believe is Groundbreaking's first Undertale song he released. And overall, it is a fine song. I'm not really that blown away about it. The way it's written is basically just going over Undertale in the most generic and basic way possible. Vocally speaking, it's also fine. It sort of takes away from the song a little bit for me, but it's nothing completely unlistenable. Instrumental wise, it's just a remix of Fallen Down, and I mean, I enjoyed that song, so I mean, inherently, it's gonna make this song sound good. Would I go back and listen to it? Probably not, but I understand why people would enjoy it. 5 out of 10. The next artist on the list is Nate Wants to Battle, or Give Hard Records. Probably the most consistently good artist I have heard from throughout the years, even in the early years of his musical career. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know Nate even made Undertale songs in the first place. And for the longest time, neither did I. Starting off with Ashes, which came out on February 4th, 2016. Being a genocide song, it seemingly takes the perspective of Sans, and by God, it's amazing. The beautiful instrumentation, the absolute killer singing that Nate is pretty much known for, and is probably his most consistent asset when it comes to a lot of these songs. It's all there with the lyrics kind of bringing it together, while not directly talking about anything in the game specifically. But it still gets the message of genocide down really well. 9 out of 10. And this could literally be said for the next two songs that I was going to cover in depth here, being Unaligned and Dead Silence, but I decided not to because I kind of would just be repeating myself from Ashes, honestly. Both of the songs came out on April 24th for Unaligned and April 4th of 2016 with Dead Silence, respectively. Both cover the subject matter really well, and I've come to honestly really love Unaligned, seeing how it fully hones in on the neutrality you have when you do a neutral run, while Dead Silence goes more on the Frisk and Kara side of things when it comes to genocide. I genuinely implore you to give these songs a listen yourself. They are probably some of the best songs any of these Undertale artists have made in the past 10 years. Both got an 8 out of 10. Next artist on the block is DA Games, and yes, I know he's a bit of a controversial figure at the moment, but he still was a pretty well-known artist during this time with some big hits, so I still think it's good to at least appreciate the songs that they have done. Starting with The Path of Genocide, coming out on November 12, 2015, being the first song DA Games had for Undertale. And I honestly really like it, even still to this day. Even though the epilepsy was ridiculous. Whoa! My eyes! Oh! But besides that, it's a good banger of a track, though it does show how much Will has improved as an artist, as it isn't perfect. I could tell from the quality of how the instruments sound, it isn't as clean as, say, Nate Wants to Battle. Still a good listen, 7.8 out of 10. Though I will say, a majority of the clips used in this video just isn't genocide footage. It's literally either neutral or pacifist, 10% of the actual video. Then we have Dream On, coming out on May 12, 2016. And it's supposed to be an Azrael song, but I'm not gonna lie, 90% of the song very loosely pertains to the god of hyperdeath. That's not always a bad thing, as I did just praise Nate Wants to Battle for having that sort of philosophy with a lot of his songs, but generally he still kept it in this general ballpark of whoever he was talking about or whoever the song generally pertained to. His songs were made to be understandable to everyone, and I think Will was trying to go with that same effect here, but it really doesn't work for me. What he talks about isn't really in character of Azrael at all, honestly. Except for maybe a couple lines here and there, this song probably could have just been a Will Ryan original and not an Undertale song specifically, and I think it would have worked better. Because when it pertains to Azrael, it doesn't really match. The song itself, just in terms of instrumentation and vocally, is very sound until the 4-minute mark, where the auto-tune becomes unpleasing. The performance starts to suffer a bit and becomes very unlistenable and doesn't really sound that good to listen to as the song gets longer, because it is a very long song, close to 6 minutes. Okay, I see the vision for it. I'm just not a fan of the execution at all. 5.5 out of 10. The final song I will be talking about is I'll Stay Determined, and I'd say it's honestly on the more underrated side of things, coming out on December 4th, 2015. As a true pacifist song, it's almost a perfect way to show what pacifism means, especially against Azrael. While Will Ryan doesn't personally like the song, I can see the merit it has. If anything, the rock elements with the instrumentation helps the song stand out as a pacifist song. Most people will probably have a more pop-in, happy-go-lucky sounding instrumentation when it comes to pacifism, mainly to try and invoke a feeling of happiness you felt while making the friends along the way. But with this song, I feel like perfectly invokes the feeling you had when playing through the Azrael boss fight. Will would say in a later video that this song, when it comes to his writing process, wasn't as strong since he felt like the community, in all of his wisdom, forced him to make a pacifist song, and he feels like the song doesn't really invoke that sense of pacifism.
My writing process was fine, but I didn't think hard enough about how it would rendition with a pacifist kind of feel. It just didn't feel very pacifist. It felt more adventurous and it felt more retaliative, which in a sense is not pacifism. So I just kind of said no to it.
Which I think he's actually wrong with that assessment. To a point, yes, he is correct, but considering how the true pacifist route ends with Azrael, I honestly think he couldn't have done a better job at portraying it, honestly. Even though the lyric video is like god awful. 7.9 out of 10. I wanna get older! Now, I'm gonna be real. After 2017, songs sort of just die out from what I can tell. Like, okay, outside of fan-made game themes or battle themes like Ben Lab, no one was really making composed song with lyrics after 2017, since around this time it was kind of the start of the dead meme era, as noted from my last video going over the entire timeline of Undertale's community. So I imagine not only was the popularity dying out, but people's ability to really come up with new material for a game that had been dissected at every turn was pretty hard. So for simplicity's sake, I just combined everything into one without much cohesion. So if I go on from something like from 2024 to back to 2017, that's why. The first person I'm going to talk about in this post-2017 era is someone who I didn't even really know until someone introduced me to them very recently. That person being Evidently Fresh, who made their channel pretty recently back in 2021, and has still continued to make music even as recently as October 12, 2025. The song in question being called A Promise I Can't Keep, and is actually a song that covers the promise that Sans had made with Toriel way back when, and how he just couldn't keep it in the genocide run. Now that is a very generalized observation of what the song is about, but that is like the simplified version of it. And yes, being a bit of a broken record here, I do really like the song. It uses Megalovania as a backing melody, and it, I would say, is very cleverly implemented by having the iconic melody of Megalovania become more and more recognizable as the song goes on. At first, it's more of a leitmotif, if that makes sense, and by the end of the song, it kind of just fully uses the melody to fully embrace itself with the instrumental. And not to mention, Every Fresh also has a really good vocal performance here, and I think it really shows the sadness that Sans has throughout the general run. Or at least I like to imagine, anyway. Overall, I think it is a very good listen to a relatively new artist on the scene making music for Undertale 10 whole years later. So that's why it's an 8 out of 10 for me. The next song I'll cover is Stay With Me, specifically the remastered version of the track. And it's a song that I really love the concept for, but to me the execution of the track is just a bit wobbly at certain points. I love the instrumental, and her voice is once again fantastic with all the harmonies and just how they're able to really bring out the emotion of the song, especially when it comes to Flowey and or Azrael. But I feel like certain things like the rhyming and certain parts of the writing could use a bit more work here, mainly for the rhyming part, because there are certain parts of the song where it definitely could be rewritten a bit, like this one line where they say, "Stay with me, your mother cries and screams," is an example of a good rhyming scheme. But the momentum from this is just completely broken, with the literal next line being, "She holds me in her arms in the same way that I hold you too." It doesn't really flow well at all with the line before or even the line after, and it just feels very off and jarring, especially on re-listens. Now I imagine this is a product of it being from the original version's lyrics, and they probably didn't change too much from the original, which I can understand. They probably didn't want to stray too far away from what the original was going on. When it comes to the topic of the song and what it goes over, there's really no complaints. It's a song that I do think is able to capture Azrael as a character, and not to mention, from what I can tell, it actually sort of goes through the character of Azrael from early childhood with Kara to being Flowey, and then to the god of hyperdeath. This is even more evident from the final use of the chorus near the 4-minute mark, where the lyrics on the screen kind of turn into a shiny rainbow color, like the save button. And yeah, it's a very good song. I just think it could use some touch-ups when it comes to, certain parts of the writing, at least when it comes to rhyming per se. 7 out of 10. The final song I will cover is Bitter, and simply put, it is arguably their best sounding song I've heard from them. It's a very basic song writing wise, as it is just Mafet, who really only appears once in the game, but the way they use as much as they could to show off their personality is very clever. Not to mention, this also has probably the most funky instrumental I've heard from them, especially with the drums and that main melody really putting this song together. And vocally speaking, it's once again really good. Having that little fast rapping part is something that I'm very addicted to listening to, and just the way that they do that performance is just like ear candy to me. I'm a sucker for those type of flows, and 9 out of 10. Next artist I found in recent times is, well, CG5.
Okay, hey, hold on a second. What the heck?
Yeah, it's about Smurfcast.
Bro, what the heck?
Not in terms of like overall, like I've heard of CG5 for like a very long time now, but just in terms of Undertale songs. And from what I can tell, they've only made one original Undertale song. I mean, technically 2, but that one is once again just a remix of a Toby Fox track, so I'm not gonna count it. And well, the original song in question being called I See a Dreamer. The song, what do you mean it's not? A Dream SMP song? Yeah, okay, so evidently, after some further research, CG5 hasn't actually made an original Undertale song from the ground up. The song I was going to cover is literally just a Dream SMP song from 4 years ago that's just repurposed for an Undertale animation for the 10th anniversary. So, as much as I probably want to, I can't cover it because it just was not made with Undertale in mind. But if you're curious on how I'd rate it though, 6.5 out of 10. Now, again, there are a lot of other artists that made Undertale songs, but there just isn't enough time to really talk about each individual one to make this video not 8 hours long. So I'm gonna just do a little bit of a lightning round for the next couple songs and just see how it goes, I guess. Bye. Griffinilla has made a lot of Undertale songs, but from what I can tell, most people probably know about him from this song. It's quite simple, honestly. It's about Undyne and Alpha's goofy but endearing relationship. It's incredibly catchy, and I love it to death. 8.3 out of 10. Yeah, I know it's technically the same person, but they go by different names and have very distinct styles of music, so I'm just gonna separate them anyway. I guarantee you there are people out there who had no idea if Android was Griffinilla. Because that was me. I was that kid.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Now, in terms of the quality of the song, it's basic. The chorus is very catchy and actually got stuck in my head after a couple of listens when doing research for this video. And outside of that, there isn't really much else. That's kind of the case for a lot of Android songs, with the exception of some of their bendy songs. But either way, this song is just like forgettable. Like you'll think it's okay in the moment, and for me, I'm probably not going to be thinking about this song after I finish this video.
Hi, Editor Cosmic, stepping in real quick. Just here to point out that Happy didn't give a ranking for this song. He completely forgot. I guess he was going too fast in his own lightning round there. So I'm going to step in for him and say that this song gets a nice 5 out of 10. You're not going to hear my opinions today. I don't feel like giving an opinion on this song.
Now this song, I didn't even know existed until doing research for this video. This song pretty much fully embraces the happy-go-lucky, feel-good times most people feel when going through the game and making friends with all the monsters. There's nothing really too deep to get out of it. It is very straightforward with what it's going for. It's a semi-generic pop beat with a pretty catchy hook, even though the rest of the song is pretty forgettable lyric-wise. It's not bad, but it's not amazing either. 6 out of 10. You know for a fact I couldn't go through this video without talking about the literal most viewed Undertale fan song of all time.
Sans? Sans, wake up!
What is it, dude?
A human has fallen from the surface world!
Really? And you got a bone to pick with him?
No time for puns!
Come on, that was a real rib tickler. Hey!
Enough!
Alright, here we go again.
I would be an absolute fool not to mention it. And, well, not much to say other than it is a great song. JT Music has always been one of my favorite nerdcore artists, whether it be their raps or songs from any game or topic that they cover, and this song is literally no exception. Whenever most people go to find an Undertale fan song, or by searching it up on the YouTube search bar, they will probably find this video at the very top of those results. As I think anyway, it is probably a song able to fully capture the general vibe that I think Toby was going for, especially with Sans and Papyrus's dynamic, which I honestly think is like the most accurate ever in any of these songs that I've listened to. It takes aspects from every run the game has to offer, and also has the best music video out of all the stuff I've seen so far. And when I mean by so far, I mean like stuff from this era. Obviously stuff made by Coda now is going to be much better quality than something made in 2016, 2017. But in terms of the lyrics, amazing. The voices, actually pretty good considering they didn't get anyone outside of their own JT group to voice Sans or Papyrus. The writing, amazing. This to me is the most memorable and probably most iconic instrumental out of all of these songs. And if you couldn't tell, this song is obviously very nostalgic to me, as me along with 100 million other people probably grew very attached to this song and were dancing along and singing along to it even back then. And I don't think there has been a song since that has been able to fully capture what Undertale is in one song since then. 10 out of 10. Not exactly much to this track, to be honest. It's honestly more in line with a parody, if anything, but whatever. It's just Cam doing a Papyrus impression while singing about major stuff that happens in the Pacifist and or neutral run. The voice is nice, the instrumental is literally just bone trousel, so take that for what you will. And, I mean, he generally stays in line with what happens in the game. It's literally like the most literal thing possible, in visuals and all. It isn't anything like eye-catching or iconic or even memorable, honestly. So, 6 out of 10. Also, honorable mention, in the middle of me searching up stuff for like the next section of the video, I just now discovered that Goose Works, the creator of The Amazing Digital Circus, made Undertale covers? And hyperly popular ones too, like I just never knew about them. I can't rate them because they are covers and not original compositions, but that actually just blew my mind. I guess that this guy also made some songs too, but I don't really care enough to listen to them. Yeah, that was all I could really manage to get, at least for anything that happened in the past, like, 8 years. Of course, there are plenty of themes to go around, like Last Breath, Old and New. Disbelief, No More Deals, Dust Trust, No More Nuzzles, etc. But I've literally already talked about those battle themes before, and it just kind of feels redundant to go and talk about them again when you could just go and watch that. Anyway, that is all for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And remember, the Yukini will always be the goat of Undertale Songs.